to me this time around. Things were the bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no risk. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and there are don't dictate.
Oh, yes, indeedy. This is Love, and this is Xandermonium, the talk show that gets you talking. I'm Xander Gibb.
And I'm Tyhe, Egar.
And coming up on today's show, we'll be breaking down some of this week's hotter topics, looking at the results of this week's poll, and taking your calls. More to come in a mere moment. As per usual, you can interact with us during the show in the chat room at the bottom of the show page. You can call us on 347-884-9061. You can Skype us on the same number, 347-884-9061. Or on Twitter, you can even tweet us. My Twitter handle is @XanderGibb, XanderGibb. And Ty's Twitter handle is @TypeOleGar, TypeAulegar, capital T, capital P, capital E. Tweet me or Ty if you're too shy, and we will make our point for you, your point for you even. So there's still time to vote in our poll at XanderGibb.com. Tell us what you think. Wrong teeth in today, Ty, I think. Tell us what you think. Should doctors and essential service providers be allowed to refuse treatment to anybody based upon religious freedom? Now, we did that poll today and this week in light of a doctor refusing to treat the child of a lesbian couple. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. Results to come also on the poll, or you can call us and tell us what you think about the subject, or absolutely anything you want to get off your chest. Call us on 347-884-9061. That's 347-884-9061 to tell us what you think. Now, contrary to popular belief, Ty and I don't bite, but we do give a nasty suck. Moving swiftly on. Welcome back, Ty. How are you today? How's it going, and how is the weather in Glasgow?
Well, I'm okay. I'm better now, thanks. I've got a bit of a cough, sorry, but don't worry. I know last time I had a cold, I sounded like a $10 hooker. But and the weather's been great all week. It's a bit naff today. Naff, sorry for American listeners. It just means it's a bit crap. But it's not been too bad. It's okay. But and the rest, it's okay. It's all right. I'm here. What can I tell you? Now thinking of training as a personal trainer, how scary is that? What can I can't sit still. I know, I can't sit still. What's the problem? That's a show. What's wrong with me? Next time you come over, I'm going to have to get you to put me a workout program together. But listen, this is a burning question that's been people have been asking me all week, and I wonder if as a fellow singer, songwriter, you are being asked this question too. Now, if one more person asks me this, so be warned if you're the one that asks me this next. If you ask me if I think Sam Smith and Ed Sheeran are exceptional singers, and do I wish I was as good, I'm going to punch you in the face. So forearmed is forewarned. Now, first of all, Ty, has anybody asked you that question? Did you punch them in the face? And do you think they're exceptional singers or just mediocre? Yes, people have asked me that question. Still bruised. I'm waiting for the lawsuits, and I don't care. Ed Sheeran I really like. I think Ed Sheeran is a really talented musician. Sam Smith, please go away, find a day job, and stop making that noise. Because it offends me, and it actually physically hurts me on some occasions. There is no need to make that noise. I don't know why you make that noise, and stop making stupid statements. Please go away. I don't like you. That's all I have to say. And anybody compares my vocal capabilities to his, I will hurt you. Really. I don't care about the lawsuits. I will mess you up. Yeah, apart from that, great.
Well, I kind of have to agree. Here's the thing for me. I agree with you. I think Ed Sheeran is pretty talented. I can't say the same about Sam Smith. You know, I was asked before what I thought, and my response was karaoke. And if that's offensive, then I'm sorry, but that's kind of just my opinion. Now, people have said, oh, you can't get those notes. Yeah, I can get those notes. I can sing that song standing on my head. And it's not just about, you've known me for 25 years. If I think someone's really good, I will say so. I'm not threatened by how good other singers are, but what does get on my tits, for want of a better word, is when people try to pit me against other singers. People have tried to do that to you and I, haven't they? Especially when we lived in London and worked on, the cabaret scene. And I think that opinions are like assholes. We all have them, but we don't all share them in public. But I think it's kind of bad to try and pit singers against one another, because taste is relative, isn't it? There are people that like my singing that don't like yours, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the thing as well is, I don't care about his success or where he is. I just don't like his voice. What I don't like about it is the idea that people rave about, he's winning all these awards, and he will disappear very soon because his voice is really annoying. And all those people that love him right now, trust me, in 6 months will not be able to listen to him anymore. It's happened to people many, many times. But you've got a different range to me. I can't hit those notes. I'm a baritone. I've said before, I'm a baritone with delusions of grandeur. I can hit certain notes that baritone isn't supposed to be able to hit, but basically I'm a baritone, so I can't hit those notes. And if I tried, I would hurt myself and others, frankly. But I just don't like the boy. I don't like his voice. I don't like his attitude. He said some of the most stupid things I've ever heard. His last quote was, "I'd rather be called fat. I'd rather be called a faggot than fat." If I had been within reach of him, I would have punched him into intensive care.
Yeah, don't call me either, basically.
Well, exactly. And then other things he said, I think you saw my repost on Facebook. He said, it makes me smile that homophobes listen to my music, and I reposted it saying it makes me smile that homosexuals don't. And I just cannot bear him,
But let's be honest here, Ty, because a lot of people would say that this commentary from you and I is jealousy. I mean, I'm glad the guy's got a recording contract, but that's out of luck more than skill and ability. I mean, I have to say, like you said, Ed Sheeran is
Ed Sheeran is a great songwriter. He is, and Ed Sheeran's going to be around in 10, 20 years, I think. You listen to Ed, I mean, I do think Ed Sheeran's got a good voice. He's got a great voice. If you listen to, and what I love about Ed Sheeran as well, live, he's amazing. He can start. He stood in Wembley with just a guitar, no band, just a guitar, and held the whole of Wembley. He's a great musician, I think, and he's listen to his songs. He's a great songwriter. He constructs songs beautifully, and for such a young guy, his lyrics are amazing. He's as an old soul. So Ed Sheeran, I wouldn't put him on the same shelf. I think as Sam Smith. But Sam Smith, I agree with you. He's a karaoke singer who's made it lucky, and like I think David Gray was it as well. Just got this monotone voice. Well, it's not monotone. That's unfair. But it's that kind of range. It's very, even though it sounds like it's a massive range, it's quite limited, and it's quite his depth. It has no depth, and emotionally,
no versatility there, is there?
No, exactly. And I think emotionally, he's good at sounding like he has an emotional depth, but I think he's quite a facile young man, and he's trying to make himself as well. I think what he's trying to do is make himself a gay icon, which I really fucking hate. That really makes me angry.
How can one make oneself a gay icon? Because here's the thing.
Well, that's
for
Lady
me.
Gaga. Do you know what I mean? I mean, she's trying.
Here's the thing.
But she can sing.
I have to say, Gaga didn't set out to be a gay icon. She just loved her gay fans, and that's what made her that and the fabulous music that made her a gay icon. She didn't wake up one morning and say, "Oh, my name is Cher, and I'm going to be a gay icon." It just happened, didn't it? I don't think you can make yourself a gay icon.
Well,
maybe you disagree listening out there.
I take your point, but I think Gaga. I take your point absolutely, but I think Gaga did actually go out of her way to try and become a gay icon.
Really?
And she became one, but I think she manufactured herself into it. Whereas people like Cher, come on, Cher's a legend. But people like Cher, Bette Midler, were genuine legends. Tina Turner. I mean, these women really were powerhouses who had to fight through hell to get where they are. Madonna as well. I don't care what anybody. I mean, call me whatever. But Madonna, turned up in New York in the back of a taxi and worked her ass off to get where she is. Madonna deserves every single bit of the fame and fortune and success that she has, because she worked her ass off to get it and proved herself to be one of the most original people in music. But this guy turned up, somebody likes his voice, whatever, and if you heard him on a karaoke, you'd go, oh, he's very good, isn't he? But you wouldn't expect to hear him in the charts, I'm sorry.
No.
So I'm
going to put you on the spot now, Ty. I often ask this question in the quickfire questions round. So we have Cher, Madonna, and Lady Gaga.
Oh, no.
They're all drowning. Who gets the lifebelt?
Yeah.
Right.
Cher.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
There you go, Cher. I know you listen to the show. So if you're out there and you disagree with what we're saying, if you disagree with us, if you think Sam Smith is fabulous and does have some vocal acuity, you can call us and tell us now on 347-884-9061. That's 347-884-9061 if you want to talk to us about that or any other topic you want to talk about. So, Ty, once again this week, Caitlyn Jenner was in the news for use as comparison to say, if one can choose one's gender, can one also choose one's race? Given that, I don't know if you've heard of this about this in the UK, but Rachel Dolezal, who is the leader of the NAACP, has been faking being black until her parents outed her this week as white. So is this a fair comparison to say, if one can choose one's gender, can one choose one's skin color? Now, I think that this is an attempt by the media to kind of discredit Caitlyn, and we're going to go on right after to talk about your gripe with Caitlyn this week, but is that a fair comparison to say, if one can choose one's gender, then one can choose one's skin color?
No, that's an outrageous thing to say, because for a start, transgender people are not choosing their gender. They're able now to become the gender they are supposed to be in the first place. So that's just really, apart from being inflammatory, it's just complete disrespect and contempt for transgender people. And also, I mean, that's an incredibly racist thing to say, isn't it? Oh, well, really, isn't it? To say, what? So I'm white, I want to be black because it's cool. I mean, so whatever she's up to, who is this? I don't know who this woman is.
She's the leader of the NAACP, which is the National African American Community Project.
Right. No, I do. So I do know who she is. Sorry, I had somebody completely different in my head then. But so her parents have outed her.
Yes, they went to the media this week and said, they showed pictures of her when she was younger. I mean, she's made her skin darker because obviously some Black/African American people are lighter skinned than others. There's a whole spectrum of color with regards to people saying I'm black, and she'd made her hair curly and her skin a bit darker, and has been claiming to be African American for the past however long she's been doing this job. I mean, I'll tell you what this does for me, to be honest. This for me is just another attempt for the media to be able to tear Caitlyn Jenner down. Now, I'm not her biggest champion, and I'm not out to be her biggest champion. But here's the thing for me. I think that if I fight for equality, I want equality for everybody, whether that be black, white, green, blue, gay, straight, male, female, transgendered, and anything else you want to add for the list. So I kind of have to try and be as equally supportive as all as I possibly can.
Sure.
Now, there's been a lot in the media since Caitlyn Jenner came out as being transgendered, and she's a Republican. I mean, how disgusting. I'm joking. Don't write in because I don't care. About the nature and the reasoning for people being transgender. Now, some people are of the opinion that transgendered people, and some people would say the same about gay people, is that these things don't actually exist. It's actually a mental illness. Now, how do you respond to that? Because I find it a bit insulting, but does it actually matter whether you're gay or transgendered because it's in your brain, or because the rate of inflation has tripled last week? Why do we need to have a reason for everything, Tyhe?
Well, because that's the human gender. That's just ingrained in the human nature. We have to have a reason for everything. We have to have everything explained to us, right down to except religion. Apparently, we'll accept any old crap when it comes to religion. You know, talking bushes,
right.
Snakes that cheat people and whatever. That's all perfectly acceptable without too much of an explanation. But
I wish all bushes were mute, but that's another show. Sorry.
Well, I do my best not to go near bush, but that's why I'm a gay man. But anyway, going back to the woman who they're saying, she made herself more black and curled her hair more. I mean, that's maybe a mental health issue. Why would she? Either that or she is cheating him. Why would she feel the need to want to make herself more of something that she already is? To suit other people, that's a body dysmorphia issue, surely. Or she's cheating people. Either way, it's an issue for her to deal with. And if she's a black woman wanting to be more black, that I don't know, that screams psychology to me. that screams like somebody who needs help. And also, of course, the press are using that to their advantage. Because that's kind of a Michael Jackson thing as well, isn't it? They had a go to him years ago saying he was bleaching his skin. It was kind of the reverse for him, wasn't it? They were saying he wanted to be white.
Right. Yeah.
And as we know, Michael, God love him, had a lot of issues. So I don't know, excuse me. but
as Michael said, it don't matter if you're black or white.
Well, he couldn't make his mind up either way, could he? But as far as
black,
being gay
white,
or transgender,
it's black, it's white.
Yeah, but as far as being transgender, gay, lesbian, bisexual, I mean, calling me old-fashioned, but isn't everything in our minds? The body is simply a vehicle that transports us around. Your consciousness, your soul, whatever you want to call it, your spirit, is in mind. Your reaction, your reality is in your mind. Your perception is in your mind. So anything genetic, your genes, the way we are made male or female is obviously the way the body, it happens in the womb, of course. But then now we know, that people, after they're born, sometimes that is wrong. But it's still in the brain. So whatever happens, because we're looking for the gene now, aren't we, that makes us gay, straight, bisexual, whatever.
Right.
So whatever explanation they want,
go on, sorry.
It's there, isn't it? So that's everything's happening in the mind. I mean, the heart only beats because the brain tells it to. The diaphragm moves up and down because the brain tells it to. That's why we breathe. So the brain is responsible for everything, apart from cell splitting. All right, before people start writing in and telling me, writing in, how old am I? Before I start emailing in, well, it's writing, isn't it? So there's very little goes on in the body that isn't controlled by the brain. But our decisions, everything, our consciousness fits in that house. So,
I have a theory as to why people want a reason for it, and to say that it's psychological, being gay or being transgender or whatever, because then they can say that it's changeable. So if it's psychological, it's changeable. And I think that that's why some people want to promote that theory.
Of course, because that was that's the out clause for anybody who wants to cause people harm, isn't it? It's changeable. That means I have the right to make you change. I have the right to force your decision, and that's of course what we have. That's what Hitler's idea was. And as we know, there are lots of Hitlers out there. It's just that we have a living force now that is more powerful than that. But it's Putin. Hello.
Hello.
People are still turning a blind eye to that as well. So
I thought you were saying hello to me.
Hello, but it's all going on, and you're right, it's cause and effect. So people will always look for a reason to control. And you're right, if they can say, oh, well, that's a choice, or if we can turn that round, we can change it, because they want to change, but they don't want to change it for a perceived better world, because that better world is their better world. It's never somebody else's. They don't want to change it for somebody else's better world. They want to change it for their better world.
Right.
And that's always the scary thing, So
while we're on the subject of Caitlyn Jenner, Ty, didn't you have a beef with Caitlyn this week? Not that you stalked her and went to her house and told her what you thought, but
no, I didn't, but I'd like to, because this is So I've got this little piece here. I took the first part from my lovely Yahoo's top 10 stories of the week, and it's interesting because Yahoo don't normally get involved with this. But so I took the first bit. This is what worries me now about Caitlyn. I think she's just getting a little bit carried away with herself. So the first bit was this piece that I read. So, now that Caitlyn Jenner is living her truth, she wants to help others do the same. Making her first public appearance since the release of her Vanity Fair cover last week, the transgender Olympian visited the Los Angeles LGBT Youth Center on Highland on Tuesday. Entertainment Tonight obtained the exclusive photos of Jenner, 65, arriving at the facility. It was the first time seeing a full photo of her that wasn't part of a formal magazine photo shoot. Jenner was casually outfitted in jeans, a black top and knee-high black boots, and carried an oversized black umbrella. The star of the upcoming, are you ready for this? The upcoming I Am Kate docu-series, who was with a camera crew, spent several hours there touring the facility and participating in a round table and one-on-one discussions with current and former clients, including some of the life work, the Centre's youth development and mentoring program. She also dropped off donations at the Centre's clothes closet, which you can access for clean, gently used clothing. The organisation said in a press release. Earlier this week, the two surgeons who performed a 10-hour facial feminization and body surgery on Jenner spoke out about the procedure. While Jenner was expectedly emotional after the procedure, there was a little bit of a panic attack. She was very happy with the results. Well, this is all fabulous, Caitlyn, and I'm truly thrilled for you and your freedom to live as a woman you really are. But here comes yet another reality show and yet another self-fulfilling prophecy. And don't tell us you're not doing this for yourself, but for everyone out there who's going through the same as you. Well, I'm sorry, but here is where my goodwill ends and my criticism begins, Caitlyn. You've had two reasonable kinds of... I know. You've had no reasonable kind of therapeutic work that I'm aware of. Other than thrashing things out with your dysfunctional family all over TV land, you've had no idea what the LGBT life is like or what our beliefs and standards are. Never mind what our fight is all about. But now, apparently, you feel it appropriate to visit an LGBT youth centre and advise our youth on what lies ahead and how to face it. Now, please don't misunderstand me. When I say we, of course, I include you, Caitlyn, and of course she has a story to share. But the only story she can possibly share is that of her own, and it is in no way at a stage where she can be offering advice to young LGBT people on what our lifestyle entails, what they should expect, or indeed what it is to live in today's society as a young LGBT person. Caitlyn, enjoy your new life. You're looking amazing, and it must feel amazing to be finally free. But tread very lightly when you offer yourself as some kind of Quentin Crisp figure or Harvey Milk. Take a look at what they did. Also, people like Ellen DeGeneres, who took the amazing steps she did and for a while trashed her own career to make a stand for sexuality and LGBT rights.
Right.
These are people who can offer advice to our young and what it is to stand alone in today's society and face what will come. How to fight for their rights and demand the freedom that is theirs anyway. I can say this confidently, Caitlyn, as one of those who have been fighting for yours for a very long time. You're welcome and welcome home.
Well, let me tell you something, Ty. My response to what she's done with this is there was a part of me that actually wanted to say, well, good for her. At least she's doing something to benefit the community, but this is nothing more than commercial. This is absolutely 100% commercial. I'm doing this because I have a reality show that I don't only star in, but I'm also the producer of, and this is great for my image. Now, and some people would say that there's nothing wrong with that, but don't use these kids as a, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I wrote that piece the way I wrote it as well, because we've been supportive of her when a lot of other people have been attacking her, and even the transgender community have had a go at her. But when I read that today, I just thought, oh no, stop! You have no idea what you're doing. And well, you've heard what my comments made there. But and if anybody's listening, and I've not mentioned any transgender heroes or heroines, you're right. So you email them in or tweet them or phone in with them, because we're not doing all your work for you. You know, people email us after the show, and you know.
I have a transgender heroine, and she, you know, as you suggested about doing a show about the transgender issue, the issues faced by transgender people, I reached out to one of my transgender heroines. I've contacted Laverne Cox's people. I'm going to see if we can get her on the show in 3 weeks to talk about trans issues. But one of my friends, Bryn Tannehill, who is a trans person and a trans activist, she's going to be coming on the show in 3 weeks when we do the show about trans issues. So she's definitely one of my trans heroes. I suggest you follow her, go and take a look at what she's trying to do and what she's trying to affect. She was involved in the military in this country, and the military doesn't treat trans people so well. But she's gradually changing that. Now let me just ask you something, Tyhe, and I'm obviously being like a little tongue in cheek here. Now, you didn't say any of the things about Caitlyn Jenner today because you're transphobic, did you?
No, absolutely not. No, not at all.
You didn't say any of these things because you're anti-trans or you want Caitlyn Jenner to revert to being a man.
No, I think she looks sensational. I'm really pleased for her. I know this sounds ridiculous. I'm going to say that that trap that everybody falls into. I've had transgender friends for years. I'm very supportive of the transgender community. But the reason I said what I said about Pride Voyager, though, was, yes, the LGBT, there'll be no more letters added on to it. As far as I'm concerned, the transgender part of Voyager are the gay transgender people. Why? I mean, I have straight transgender friends, and they don't connect themselves to the gay community. Why would they? They're straight. So that's the only time I separate them. Of course, and quite rightly, my transgender straight friends don't want to be associated with the gay community in the sense that they are not gay. I
want to point out the reason why I asked you those questions is because I'm actually sick of people assuming that just because you don't agree with something that a transgender person does, that you're anti-trans, or just because you agree with something a gay person does, that you're anti-gay.
No, what scares me about what she's doing is she's giving out this advice, and now of course I'm going on what the press is saying, but I can just see this coming because now I've started paying attention to the Kardashians. They're a bunch of fucking idiots. And what concerns me
that's two swears on the show today. You have to give a donation to charity now.
All right, okay, I'm sorry. It just scares me. But, because what scares me about it is she's now going to go out thinking that she can advise young LGBT people. She has no idea what the LGBT life is like. Not one clue. Now,
but,
she can sit there, of course, and say, this is what I've gone through for 40 years, and please don't do, be free, be happy, and support the trans community in that sense, and tell her story and how she fought. That's absolutely fine, but she can only speak in a singular perspective.
Right?
She has no point of reference for anything else.
Right, because her experiences are not unique. Her experiences are not a struggle, and whilst it must have been difficult not to be able to be who she wanted to be, her experience is not typical of Fred Smith down the street who can't afford that surgery, who can't get their jaw shaved down to look more feminine, who can't get rid of their Adam's apple, etc., etc. So Caitlyn's experience is not typical, shall we say.
No, absolutely not. And she's led a very comfortable, cosseted life, even though she's gone through this, hell. And now I'm not taking away from it must have been horrible. I've never lived that secret. I came out when I was 16. But she's still lived it as a millionaire. Do you know what I mean?
Trans?
She's not lived it, as what?
No, you said you came out when you were 16. I said what?
As a gay man. Sorry, as a gay man.
Right.
As a gay man. So I've never experienced that living a lie. and because I was afraid to come out, you know. And when I say that, I don't mean that accusatorily. I mean just I've never had to live that way. So, you know, I'm not taking that away from her. But she's no idea how other people have struggled. You know, she's not had that struggle living in some basement flat somewhere, terrified of what people are going to say or being attacked physically or wondering what society are going to look at. She's just not done that. So she has no advice to give young people in our situation. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Absolutely.
So that's what scares me about going and sitting at a round table and talking to young people about gay. No, what? Shut up, woman. You know, that's why I'm now saying no, enough is enough.
The commercial aspect of that kind of worries me a little, you know.
Well, absolutely, and of course the show are going to plug, but this is what pisses me. Oh, sorry, I've got to stop swearing. This is what annoys me about it. Is now this, you know, Caitlin, the docu-series. Oh look, Kate. Oh look, another TV. She can't keep her face off the television, and yet, you know, I mean, when does her private life kick in? At what point does she acquire some dignity? You know, because this is just absurd.
Never.
Well, no, exactly. But don't now. This is a case of right. Don't drag us into this. If you want to do this and you want to live the rest of your life on television, fine. But don't drag us into this.
Absolutely.
You know, we're trying to. As far as I'm concerned now, and I'm not going to speak for you. You can obviously agree or disagree with me. I'm not going to speak to you, and I in no way put myself up to speaking to the gay community when I say this. I've just realised, but we are moving into a completely different era as a gay community, and I personally think, okay, that we should be considering now finding a bit of dignity, you know, and finding, you know, that place where we just consider ourselves normal human beings and get on with it, you know, and this idea that people, you know, we have to live our lives on television, we have to constantly be fighting a war against nonsense, and this kind of person is who we're setting up as an icon is just wrong. It's wrong, and it needs to be, and we need to stand up, you know, and let young LGBT people know, do you know what? This is not who you should strive to be. You should strive to be yourself. And this is a society that we have fought for you to be free in. The one where you can get married, where you have a right to be a normal human being, not the one that sells everything on television. It's just ridiculous.
Right. Absolutely. I want to just give the results of our poll this week. Now, the question was, should a doctor or any essential service provider, like an ambulanceman, et cetera, an ambulance person, should I say, be allowed to refuse a service based upon the ideology of religious freedom? And a whopping 90.91% said no, and 9.9% said yes. What?
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing for me, and we looked this up this week, and people sent it to me, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the Hippocratic Oath says about not being able to refuse treatment to anybody. However, a doctor this week, we're hoping to get the parents on the show in the future. I reached out to them this week, refused to treat a 6-month-old baby because the parents were gay. Now, this is a very unfortunate side effect of this Religious Freedom Act, which makes people like doctors, ambulance workers feel. I just think one person is going to have to die, unfortunately, for this shit to be knocked on the head. Because if you're a doctor and you come to the scene of an accident and say, I'm sorry, I can't treat you because I don't agree with your lifestyle, you shouldn't be doing the job. You should not be doing the job. Now, we've both said, Ty, we agree with the freedoms of people. If they don't want to provide a service, then they don't have to do so. But I'm sorry, but I think that this is somewhat different. Do you agree or do you disagree?
No, absolutely not. And I thought that it was made very clear that this could not happen, in actual fact.
Right. Could not or should not?
No, could not happen. I thought the senator and whatever. Oh, we did this show so long ago, I've forgotten his name. the guy who was in charge of it all it's all gone. Sorry, my head's gone. I'm so freaked out. It made it very clear that no, this won't happen. This is not what it's all about. You can't have services refused on a medical basis or things like that. So, firstly, this doctor should be struck off. He should never be allowed to practice medicine again.
It was a woman, actually, funnily enough.
She. Sorry, why did I assume it was a he? That's shocking.
No. I just, because for me that kind of makes a bit of a difference, the fact that it was a woman. Because I would think that, I don't know why, just in my head, a female would be more understanding of a mother with a child, regardless of the mother's sexuality.
Right. Well, maybe it's got it was a lesbian and it was a woman. I don't know. But she should be struck off. Should never be allowed to practice medicine again, and also should be prosecuted. I think personally. But if that was the case, truly, what she should have done is treated the child and then said to them, "Please don't come back to me again. I cannot." Because of my religious beliefs, I don't find it. I find it impossible to treat you because you're lesbians. Don't come back. But to turn a 6-month-old baby away is disgusting. And so no, I have absolutely no interest in being sympathetic towards this woman or her religious beliefs whatsoever. I think that's absolutely abhorrent, appalling, and disgusting, and she should be struck off. And
absolutely. I totally agree.
It's driving me mad now. I can't remember his name. There we go.
Our poll kind of agrees with that. Also, what do you think that the my brain has died. It's too hot. What do you think the consequence of this should be for any doctor? Do you definitely think that they should be struck off? Like, for instance, let's say, God forbid, a car accident occurs. The ambulance driver comes. The ambulance driver, it's me in the car accident. The ambulance driver sees, the medic sees that I'm Xander Gibb, and I'm someone that they know is openly gay. And they walk away from me and say, I can't treat Xander Gibb because Xander Gibb is gay and his lifestyle goes against my ideologies, and I die. Should that medical technician be charged with murder or manslaughter? Or
manslaughter, isn't it? Well, I would have thought it's manslaughter, isn't it? If they're a medical technician and they're attending the scene of your accident, so they are, they're doing their job, and then turn away. That's manslaughter, surely. It's not second-degree murder. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has got to stop. This has got to. I mean, she's got to be made an example of right now.
Exactly.
Before this just does go any further.
Because otherwise someone's going to die, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone is going to die.
Absolutely.
And this is as a result of the Religious Freedom Act.
Yeah.
And I've heard all these people saying that
things as well are just going to get completely out of hand. Everything's going to get turned down. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing. You'll end up in a country in chaos.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So come on, call in. Tell us what you think. 347-884-9061. 347-884-9061 if you want to call in about this or any of the topics we've covered, or you even want to start your own. We don't bite, honestly. So give us a call, 347-884-9061. So, Ty, after several embarrassing calls lately from American friends asking me exactly what bollocks are, I realized they were indeed referring to the Sex Pistols album, Never Mind the Bollocks, because bollocks is not a word that's used in the American vernacular. They call them balls. Due to being featured recently on a new range of credit cards, much to the dismay of adoring fans, Virgin Money has launched a line of credit cards featuring two of the band's iconic album covers. The images will be taken from the 1976 single Anarchy in the UK and the Never Mind the Bollocks album. It's time for consumers to put a little bit of rebellion into their pocket, a bank press release said, quoting the company's director of cards, Michael Green, saying, the Sex Pistols challenge convention. and the established ways of thinking, just as we are doing in our quest to shake up banking. Twitter uproar ensued, whatever the hell Twitter uproar is, and fans denounced the former proponents of anarchy for the move. So the Sex Pistols are now appearing on Virgin debit cards. One tweeter called Neil Michael Burke said, "Punk is officially dead. They dragged it out and crucified it." It's not the first time that fans have accused the band of selling out. Johnny Rotten, former Sex Pistols lead singer, was, if you can call him a singer, was criticized when he teamed up with Country Life Butter for a TV ad for appearing in a TV reality show. But surely even aging punks gotta eat too, right? So the Sex Pistols do have a long history with Virgin. However, after signing with Virgin Records in 1977, in the press release, Virgin founder Richard Branson said Virgin Money was a bank that can be proud of its past. Well, I didn't know they were a bank. I thought they were building society, but there you go. The Sex Pistols are an iconic band and an important part of Virgin's history, he added. So let's firstly talk about this. I thought it was hilarious getting emails from people and a couple of calls saying, "Xander, what are bollocks?" Obviously, my my mind was doing overtime when I got these types of correspondence. So are they selling out, Ty? Is it fair? Is it appropriate? Is it wrong? Do we even give two shakes of a lamb's what's-it?
No, I couldn't care less if they sold out a long time ago, and who cares? Punk, and for everybody on Twitter who tweeted Punk is finally dead, get a life. It died a long, long time ago. Grow up. You also have a day job.
Heresy.
Well, please. Punk was right. Listen. Okay, here we go. Here's the end of my career. Punk was an excuse for a bunch of very, very talentless people to get together and make noise and attempt to call it music. All right, that's what punk was. Okay. It was also an excuse for a bunch of talentless adolescents to dress in really, really bad clothing, jump up and down and spit on each other and get laid by equally ugly women, okay? That's what punk was, okay? All right, then came...
So, and if you do want to contact Ty to respond to him, as I said earlier, his Twitter handle is at Tyhe Egar, Tyhe
Bring it on.
Egar, and I will be
capital
tweeting
T, capital E.
For all you Glasgow punks, I will be tweeting his address and phone number after the show.
Yeah. Before you bother.
I mean, seriously.
Before you bother.
Seriously.
No, but seriously. And before you do, just remember that I have been harassed by the Westboro Bastards Church. So you people do not scare me.
Me too.
But it was.
You can't frighten me. I've had a booking in Barnsley.
Exactly.
But seriously, Ty, why do you think... Go on.
No, it is because you're right. What you said earlier, people have got to eat, and I mean it was funny seeing Johnny Rotten doing a butter commercial. That did make me smile, I have to say. But the man's got to eat. I mean, what do they expect these people to do? Live in a mud hut, forever? And the people who were criticising it, I bet you £1 to $1, all the people criticising it for selling out are all middle class wankers living somewhere with 2.4 children and then a BMW outside the door.
Probably.
They're not going to be people, do you know what I mean? They won't be living the punk life. Well, they might still go to a punk gig and looking a bit ridiculous doing it now, because at 55 years old, if you're still trying to look like a 16-year-old in a punk outfit, you're going to look like a complete idiot. So, and a lot of the punks I know now are middle-class people who have a BMW parked outside the door. So there's no business saying that Johnny Rotten's sold out. He's still the last time I saw them anywhere performing live, they were still great live performers. I can't stand punk music. I don't like that. Well, I hated it. I thought it was just a noise. But they were still great. He was still great at what he was doing the last time I saw him, and that was not that long ago.
Well, I think punk music is a contradiction in terms, really. I mean, I loved Adam and the Ants, but they weren't punk, were they? They were kind of like Magic crossover.
And Adam Ant is not, in the past couple of years, has resurrected himself. He looks fantastic. He's well again. And he sounds fantastic again.
I love
I'm a big fan of Adam Ant. he's looking and sounding great again. And all power to them, but it wasn't my kind of music. I was a new romantic, Tyhe, Susie and the Banshees, but I liked ABBA as well, so I was a weird child. I'm a weird adult. But
even you're weird, period. Even Adam Ant's lyrics kind of took rise out of all that had gone before. Unplug the jukebox and do us all a favor. That music's lost its taste, so try another flavor. He was even sticking up his middle finger to punk and saying it's dead, it's crap, it's gone.
Yeah, of course.
So
but then
I kind of think
Tyhe. I mean, Tyhe and Susie and the Banshees were kind of born out of the punk era, but Tyhe it was like punk new wave really, and Susie and the Banshees did the same. They moved away from punk into new wave and then became their own very iconic sounds. And Tyhe, very iconic, very individualistic music. They made their own sound. They moved away from what was the traditional punk sound because they had the talent to do that.
Do you think Tyhe is popular in America?
She is, but I think she's popular with that. She's part of a collaboration called The Humans, with the bass player from REM, and but Tyhe is known in America. She is. That's why I use her name a lot. I mean, she is very well known in America, and she was in the 80s as well. She's very big in Japan. I love saying that. She's very big in Japan as well. She's in Europe. It's just in the UK. Sadly, in the 90s, people got a bit because she took a different direction musically. A lot of fans kind of fell away, but they're coming back now. But she wasn't taken that seriously because she was an actor as well, and people didn't know what to do with her. But if you go back to her music now and listen to it, I mean, she was putting out some phenomenal music at that time. But as I say, her and Susan, they made their own sound, but they moved away from the punk because it had a limited time, its shelf life. It couldn't go anywhere else from that very, very trapped space that it was in.
Right. But here's the thing about fans, and I think people. I mean, as you know, I'm hoping to release an album before Christmas. He says. I think people are going to be very surprised. I'm just hoping to release one before I die. Yeah. I think people are going to be very surprised at the flavor of my new album, because here's the thing that people forget, that as musicians and songwriters, we evolve. We move on. Yeah. We change direction. Look at Madonna. Look at Madonna in the 1980s and Madonna now. They're like worlds apart, aren't they? Yeah, absolutely, of course. And people, I don't think people ever do that, put that together in their heads, because you're a fan, you just move along with them and you accept, you take it for granted. But it's funny you should say that. I mean, one of my favourite, and I'm not saying this it's just because we've talked about her, one of my favourite albums of Tyhe's is still one of hers from the late 70s called The Blue Meaning, and it's still an outstanding album, but you listen to her stuff now and put them together and just think, wow, that's just worlds apart. But it's the same performer, the same power in her voice, the same passion, the same, that very individual sounding. But you're right, listen, I love Madonna's new album. I think it's Madonna right back on top of the game. What's your favorite one of the new songs of Madonna? Oh, Ghost Time. I like that too. But I did, as soon as I heard the album, before I knew any of it was going to be a single or whatever, Ghost Time really stood out to me. But there are a couple of other songs that I really like on it as well. But, I like the whole thing. There's Joan of Arc. I love Joan of Arc as well. But it's not, what's it called? Anyway, you've put me on the hop there. But it's just a great album. It's Madonna back on form. I love listening to it because you can hear that it's Madonna back on form. You can hear when an artist is truly back, comfortable in their own skin again. And I think the past couple of albums I really didn't enjoy because I don't care what she says. I don't think she was comfortable. I don't think she really knew where she was going. No. And this is really, she's back there. But you're right. People change. Really quick. I mean, Lady Gaga. Look at her. She's only had 2 albums out, and they're worlds apart. I think, anyway, musically, the direction, just her performance has changed so much, so quickly. Absolutely. And a lady who reinvents herself constantly. If you listen to Annie Lennox over the past 30 years, Eurythmics, every single album was different.
it was a different style every album, and she's done the same.
But not anymore, though. I mean, that last album was a major disappointment, and I'm not just saying that because we had a war of words. I respect her as an artist.
Nostalgia. I don't know what she bothered, really.
Yeah, I don't either, because it was like karaoke.
Yeah, particularly as she said as well, she doubts she'll ever release anything else. She hasn't written anything for a long time because she's happy, which struck me as a strange comment. But when I listened to Nostalgia, I was sad. I was saddened because I was expecting something. I thought, right, if she's truly going to do these amazing covers, I thought she would get a producer in and really go mad and really make them her own. And I haven't heard anything on it that nobody. Yeah, you're right, Carrie. I mean, I thought, well, anybody could have sung them that way. I mean, not with her voice, obviously. She's still got a stunning voice, but there's nothing outstanding about the versions that she's done. They're just re-recordings, basically. But I mean, apart from that, I'm talking about her individual, solo work or original work, I should say. Her and Dave Stewart. But they came from the Tourists were a very edgy band originally that they came from. So it's all, but they could all be accused of selling out if you think about it, all of them, because they've all grown up. We've all grown up.
Right. But I think there's a difference between growing up and commercializing, because I think that you might disagree with me, but I don't think that this album that Madonna wrote was obviously she did it to make money. I mean, not that she ever needs to make another penny in her life, but the album is still kind of very real. And I think sometimes when an artist works with different producers to get a different sound, sometimes it doesn't work,
No, it hasn't, has it? I mean, it's failed dramatically. Well, I think Hard Candy was MDMA was an awful album. Sounded like it'd been written by a 12-year-old. But I can't listen to it. I've never got to the end of it, actually. I've kind of skipped through songs. I've never got to the end of it. And other people have tried, worked with other producers, and it's failed. Kate Bush's last album, 50 Words for Snow, I listened to it and thought, are you kidding? Seriously? There are about 3 songs on it that, as far as I'm concerned, are worth listening to. The rest of it is just self-indulgent drivel. But there you go. But people, of course, Kate Bush, I'm going to get trolled. But there you go. But I've been a Kate Bush fan since day one, and I am old enough to say that. I remember I bought her first album. I remember seeing the Wuthering Heights video played for the very first time on BBC television. I've been a fan since day one. But 50 Words for Snow, I was just like, you have got to be kidding. There's a 13-minute song about her making love to a snowman.
Really?
It's just self-indulgent drivel.
What's the name for that? If having sex with corpses is necrophilia, this is freezophilia, isn't it? Yeah, what's the name for it?
Thought, really. Damp.
What?
But damp. Because that's what it's about. She wakes up in the morning and there's just twigs and snow, in the bed next to her. But it's just, I mean, there are about 3 songs on it that are, and she's just, and I know for a fact that people, when she did the live shows in Hammersmith, it was all very and I knew when people were coming back. So it's all about selling out. It's all about going one way or another. How did I get onto this? You set me off now. This is people talking about punk selling out.
Here's the unfortunate thing, though. Here's the unfortunate thing. No matter what your principles are, Ty, no matter what your tastes are, the unfortunate thing in life is that we have to survive and we have to pay the bills. Now, I actually, to be honest, I have a day job. I don't mind sharing that I have a day job. I'm kind of good at what I do, and thank God I have commercial skills. Because for some of us, while we're waiting for syndication, while we're waiting for other things to take off, we still have to pay bills in the meantime, which is a sensible thing. And there are things that I have had to do, and I've not had very much work that I didn't really want to do. And I've done it all, from kissograms to drag to whatever it was that I had to do. Bit parts in movies, and I consider myself to be a good actor, but I've still done background work because it pays the bills. And I think if you talk to most big stars, the only way they've survived is to do like other meager tasks to pay the bills and survive while they do get their big break. Because that phrase, "Don't give up your day job," is just very apt,
I think if you haven't done all that, you haven't had fun getting where you're going.
No.
And I don't
Absolutely.
care. And I mean, we're very open on the show, and we've talked about mental health before. And you're a big supporter and a friend of mine, and I haven't had a great week, and I do, but I love my job and things. But even though we bitch about things and go, oh my God, what's happening? How long have I been? It's still a great journey. I mean, I still look back at places where I've really struggled, and talking about London, and I struggled, and then I had great success, and then I struggled again, and then I stopped. As you know, I stopped singing. I stopped work for 7 years as a musician because I just stopped enjoying it. And then started again and started loving it again. So there's all that. But I mean, at one point, now I'm going to work. I know I'm moving back into success and blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking forward to that again. But I'll still look back at these times when I've had low points and blah, but I'll still look back at it and think, yeah, but without that, I couldn't sit where I am and know I'm enjoying it because I wouldn't have the comparison and I wouldn't have that reality and I would have nothing to write about. From my point of view.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not saying you have to suffer to write. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to have experience to write and work
Absolutely.
from. And I think that's the point. So, but I am lucky. Again, though, I'm like you. I mean, I am lucky. I love the day job that I have. But I work. I mean, I think it's a privilege to do what I do. So, I don't get the Monday morning blues when I wake up to go to work. So. But as a holistic therapist and a drug counsellor, it is a privilege to work with the people I work with, and I tell them that, and I share my experiences as well. So, I'm very open that way. And now, obviously, moving into this thing with Voyager and whatever, it's a whole new experience. And as far as the music, yes, hoping to record another album before I die would be good.
Oh,
gosh,
for sure.
But although now
when do we find the time?
Willing to get in a minute. I know.
So
and
listen,
also obviously finishing the second book.
We've got. Oh, please. What is the second book? I'm kind of I'm in a blur about mine.
Well, I'm on Swoop
we have a few minutes
hopefully
left.
I'll have something to say.
We have a few minutes left, and I wanted you to be able to have a few minutes just to pay tribute to Christopher Lee, who died this week.
He did. I took this. Okay, thanks. Yeah, because I was going to kind of set it aside. So yeah. So what I wanted to do, right? This is just a briefie for everybody. I just literally jogged this down from. I took a few briefs. Somebody had done a report on Flipboard, and it's. I just wanted to jog people's memories because Christopher Lee. I don't know. Young people won't have a clue when he started. They're just aware of this huge man on screen. So I just wanted to kind of jog people.
Well, he was in the Hobbit movies, so I think young people would know him, wouldn't they?
They know him now with this, yeah, but it kind of, from his beginning. So
exactly.
Sir Christopher Lee, I'd forgotten about this, excuse me, died on June the 7th at the age of 93. From horror of Dracula to the face of Dr. Fu Manchu to the Lord of the Rings, Christopher Lee led a career playing the iconic and imposing roles, mostly villains. The films that initially made him famous were Hammer horror monster movies, proud B movies, but he immediately introduced an element of pathos and danger that stood out from the camp. But never since has there been a duo like Lee and Cushing for me. But to some of his movies, I've taken this list from Flipboard and just wanted to share a brief moment of some of his classic celluloid work. So The Curse of Frankenstein in 1957. Lee had been a bit player in British and Hollywood films for a decade before he landed his first popular role as Frankenstein's monster in Hammer Films' production monster movie. The first in a trio of creature features, Peter Cushing, who, like his friend Lee, would catch the eye of a young George Lucas, played the misguided Dr. Frankenstein. So, like people, who did Peter Cushing play in the Star Wars movies? No? Yeah? The Horror of Dracula, 1958. Dracula was a role Lee would reprise 10 times through the 70s. The actor memorably appeared in the first film for only 7 minutes, but left a lasting impression as a vampire, giving the role a terrifying but seductive presence that differentiated his take from Bela Lugosi's Count from the 1930s. 10 times, I didn't realise that. He played Dracula. And in one of the movies, he didn't speak a word as Dracula. And he terrified people. And The Mummy, this is one of my favourites. He again didn't make a sound, didn't speak a word, but broke people's hearts. In The Mummy in 1959, Lee's third Hammer assignment required him not only swathe himself in heavy makeup and bandages, but also lumber across screen with only his eyes visible to the audience. Lee would later remember the role as one of his most physically challenging, as he pulled every muscle in his back while lifting actress Yvonne Furneaux in a scene. Sherlock Holmes is a Deadly Necklace in 1962. Lee first played the famous detective in 1962 film and would do so again in a pair of TV movies in the early 90s. Sherlock Holmes and the Leading Lady and The Incident at Victoria Falls. In 1970, he played Sherlock's smarter brother Mycroft in The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. The Fate of Fu Manchu in 1965. And The Golden Gun in 1974. In Roger Moore's second turn as James Bond, Lee played the assassin Francisco Scaramanga.
I didn't even know he was in James Bond.
Yeah, the man with the golden gun. A role that gave him the chance to not only face off memorably against 007, but also romance Maud Adams in in his island lair. Yeah, he played the man with the golden gun. See, I know people forget these things. But now, what has got to be one of his most iconic roles in The Wicker Man in 1975. Lee himself would later call the horror thriller the best film I've ever been in, and his role as the menacing Lord Summerisle, the leader of the deeply and creepily religious inhabitants of the island of Summerisle, the best part I've ever had. And then The Lord of the Rings in 2001. In the early 2000s, Lee began a career in nascence of sorts, starring in 2 blockbuster franchises. The first was Peter Jackson's Middle-earth saga, in which Lee played the treacherous wizard Saruman, a villain Lee portrayed with unsettling ferocity and zeal. He also, by the way, read the books at least once a year without fail, for all the time. And then Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones in 2002. After dueling Gandalf, Lee was recruited to duel Yoda as Count Dooku, the corrupted Jedi Master who became Darth Tyrannus. As a Dark Lord of the Sith, Lee not only wielded a lightsaber and his stunning Force lightning attack, but also created a classic on-screen icon villain that elevated the otherwise hokey prequel films. So personally, I say thank you to Christopher. You filled my movie life with joy, and I will miss your presence on screen, but you have left a great catalogue for people to flick through and enjoy. Good night, sir.
Absolutely. And on behalf of everybody who is associated with the show, rest in peace, Christopher Lee. Now, would you be surprised to know that my earliest memory of Christopher Lee, because I loved horror films as a kid, even as a little boy, and my parents thought it was a little freaky, but do you remember a certain pickle brand in the UK that he did a voiceover for? And I remember hearing him doing the voiceover, and this, anyway, doesn't matter, I can say the brand name. I'm sure the show executives won't kill me for saying it, but he did this advert, and it was Hayward's, the first pickles to bite back. And I remember hearing that as a child and saying, oh, Mom, that's Christopher Lee. She's like, I'm sure it isn't Xander. I'm sure it's just someone who sounds like him. But it was. Because he had that very distinctive voice. But he will be sadly missed. 92 years old.
93, yeah.
93, absolutely.
Yeah, amazing guy, yeah.
It's very, it's sad, but I think that in a way, and I tell you who said this, Betty White, when what's her name, Estelle Getty died, she said, thankfully, we will always have Estelle with us in the TV show, and I think in a way that's quite fitting. We will always have Christopher Lee in the in the movies that he made.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are. I mean, I actually cut that short because we were running out of time. But and also it would have been, it would only be interesting for Lee fans. But he has an extensive back catalogue. Sir Ian McKellen put a beautiful piece on Facebook as well about him earlier today and yesterday. Which was lovely as well, and also not blown out of proportion. People. He was a fabulous actor, and he's gone. But he has left a great back catalogue.
Absolutely.
So I've got Brenda. Brenda.
Yes,
just
Brenda.
Brenda just say hi.
Brenda's been drinking this afternoon. She's been on the cocktails, and I said it's not fair. I have to wait till the show is over. I have to go swim now. I'm swimming every day. I have to go swim and then get groceries, and then I can come back and have a cocktail. But we are really, we're over time. Tell people, Tyhe, where they can find you. Oh, you won't be here with us next week, will you? You're having a week off. And
no, I am. I'm
covered
celebrating
by the fabulous Tony.
Yeah, because I'm celebrating Stonewall's 50th anniversary. Have to put that in. Can't miss that out, dear. But I'm in London celebrating that. Yes. But I've got to throw this in. I'm representing Voyager, PrideVoyager.com. There you go. Quick plug. Brenda, we're not doing another hour here. You just have to sober up. Yeah, my plug. I never go anywhere without my plug, and she keeps spelling my name wrong. I'm going to kill her one day.
Yeah, but usually it's in your butt, unfortunately.
That's just
I have to say, quite genuinely, Pride Voyager lets us use their website to promote this show for free. So there is a lot of cross-pollination between Pride Voyager and Madrigal Media and Xandermonium. So we are grateful to be sharing in that reciprocal publicity. You can find Tyhe on Twitter and Facebook. His links are on my page too, and you can also find him at tpegar.com or tpegger as he's been aptly dubbed. Don't forget to check out tpegger at tpegger.com.
Yeah, and my links to you, darling, are all on there as well. So you can find if you go to tpegar.com, you can find all the info and links to Xander's page as well there. So you can't really get rid of us. Either way, you'll find us.
Make sure you give all the fags and trannies and dykes my love when you go to London next week, and give Deb a big hug from me. What are we going to play out with today? Something quick, something.
Well, I can't say me yet, can I? I don't know.
No, but in the next couple of weeks we will be. I can't say too much about what's been going on, but we will be proud to play Tyhe's music again very soon.
Yeah.
We just overcome some legal complications with regards to copyright and playing it on the show, but we're proud to announce that we will be able to. In fact, what we need to do is, we need to set up and we need to sing live, and we need to sing. My brain has died today. What's my favorite song from your album?
Maestro. Yeah.
We'll be able to play
it's 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes long, love.
That's fine. Anyway, so this is Xander Gibb, Matinee Idol, saying goodbye until next week. Thanks to I haven't got it. I can't play it. It's not, and I took it out, but we'll put it back in. Thanks to Tyhe. Let's play out with. What have we got? I'm just looking. Let's play this by Laurie Newbo, who's been a contributor to both the radio and the TV show. This is called Boogie Down Bronx. We'll be back with you next week. Well, I will, and Tyhe will be off getting drunk and taking lots of drugs with all the puffs in London. Good night from me, and good night from me. I'm sorry, I'm coming contretemps with Brenda as well in the chat room, people. No problem. She's definitely drunk. All right. We'll see. She totally is. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you for listening. This is Boogie Down Bronx by Laurie Newbo. We love you all. Bye-bye. Bye. Let's go.